Leeds International School, Form 1, First Midterm, English Language. Subjects: Oxford Grammar to 14, Textbook, page number 16. First, let's look at what a subject is. The subject of a sentence or a clause is a person or thing, it could be a noun or a pronoun, that the sentence or clause is about. So, as we all know, a sentence has a verb and at least one subject. In many clauses, the subject usually carries out the action. In subordinate clauses, in complex sentences, have to have a verb and a subject as well. But unlike a main clause, they do not make sense on their own. They are dependent on the main clause for their meaning. So, as you are aware, a subject is a person or a thing that a sentence refers to, or else it's about a state. When we form a sentence, we have to be very careful about the subject-verb agreement. Let's look at the first example set. In simple sentence, how do we create the subject and verb agreement? As you can see, a ball bounces on the screen. Ball is a singular noun, as you can see, and since it's singular, the verb should be written in the singular form, and hence we wrote it as bounces. We add an s at the end of the verb. So since this sentence is in simple present tense, we add either s or es or ies when we write the sentence in simple present tense form if our subject is singular. But when you say the news is true, and if we say we had not yet an innings, and we also could say mumps is a serious illness. Even though the noun news, innings and mumps have s letters at the end, it does not say that these nouns, the subjects, are not subjects are plural. We consider these subjects as singular nouns, and hence we use the singular verb agreement. But as you can see, balls bounce on the screen. But a dozen of eggs cost 100 rupees. Balls singular plural form, and hence we write the plural form of the verb without adding s. But when you say a dozen of eggs, even though there are a lot of eggs, we consider it as a dozen. And since we turn the verb into the singular form of it. Now let's consider compound subjects. In the earlier examples, we considered subjects in a simple sentence. Now we have come across a compound subject. In a compound subject, we might find one, two or more than two subjects. In the example given, he and I were playing football. He and I refer to two people, and hence we use the verb form in plural. But if I say bread and butter, then the dish, the food item, is considered to be a one dish, and that is why I have used the singular form of the verb format according to the subject. Time and tide. By referring to time and tide, we rather mention the same subject. We refer to the same thing, and since time and tide are referred together as a single unit, we use the singular form of the given verb, which is with. Next, we will be considering singular subject joined by or and nor. This particular type of subjects require a singular verb. For example, neither food nor water was found in desert. The subject here is food, water. Neither food, water is considered to be singular subject. We use the singular form of the verb, which is was. Either a rat or an insect has been there. Since rat and insect are both singular subjects, we use the singular form of the verb, which is has. Next, let's consider a singular and a plural noun joined with or nor. They will require a plural verb. Neither the chairman nor the directors were present in the meeting. In this particular sentence, if you notice, the verb is given as were, and the closest subject to the verb will be directors. Since directors is a plural noun, we have to use the plural form of the verb, which is were. But neither you nor he is to be blamed. If you consider the subject is considered to be is, and the closest subject is he, since the subject he is singular, we should use the plural verb is. And when you say either you or I am mistaken, I is the closest to the required verb, and we have to change the required verb according to the closest subject, which is I. Now let's look at another form of deciding the subject-verb agreement. If two singular nouns are joined by and are preceded by each or every, the verb is considered as singular. If the subject in our sentence is preceded by each or every or many, then we should consider our subject as a singular form. As in the example, each child has a dream. Child is singular and is preceded with each, and due to that reason we have to use the singular form of the verb has. Every mother is a singular form of the subject, and we should use the singular form of the verb for the given subject. Subjects in clauses. The first example is given as, although my friends begged me, I decided not to go to the reunion. In this given example, there are two parts in this sentence, two clauses, the subordinate clause and the main clause. The main clause subject is given as, although my friends. So, according to the subject in the main clause, the verb is given as begged, and according to the subject in the subordinate clause, I as the subject, decided is given as the verb. And in the second example, if the ozone layer collapses, the global community will suffer. In the main clause, in the subordinate clause, ozone layer is given in singular form, and we use the subject. Since the subject is singular, we have to provide the singular form of the verb. The global community is given in plural form, since we use the plural form of the required verb. That was the end of our lesson. I hope that you all understood. Now, given the examples, you may complete the starting point, going further, and further still activities. In the starting point activity, you may write down the subject. First, underline the subject and then recognize whether it's singular form or plural. And in the going further activity, identify the subjects, so you may underline it if you prefer. Underline and identify the subjects of each clause. And in the further still activity, read the extract and underline all the subjects.